In today's video, I'm going to show you that super baller gaming monitors do not have to come with a super expensive price tag. This monitor here from MSI is easily the best monitor that I have down here in my studio right now, and definitely not the most expensive. Let's have a look. Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf. Today we're going to be checking out this MSI MAG272CQR monitor, which honestly probably has the best bang for your buck value that I've personally seen so far. And if you're new here and you want to see other gaming monitors or PC hardware videos, then hit that subscribe button down below and also that notification bell. That way you never miss an episode. But yeah, let's check this thing out. Starting with the specs of the monitor, just so we all know what we're working with today, the MAG272CQR is a 27-inch VA panel with a resolution of 2560 by 1440. My first ever 165Hz refresh rate, it's 1500R curved, FreeSync, and even a 1 millisecond response time. This panel is indeed VA, so it's right in there between TN and IPS for the most part. It also has a max brightness on paper of 300 nits, so no true HDR, which is fine at this price point, a 3001 contrast ratio, and it covers 100% of the sRGB scale. For the quick physical tour, I'm definitely a fan of the super slim bezels on the side and top, definitely a big chin to sport the MSI branding, but that's pretty much how every monitor is designed these days. Where things get different is the RGB on the back. That is base and mounting screws, by the way. The back of this monitor is by far one of the best designs that I've personally seen, and there's this streaking RGB light which looks cool and can even be synced with other Mystic-like products, but doesn't have a ton of practical use. The light would certainly look cool at like an esport event where all the players or athletes are lined up and you can see the back of the monitors, but this light doesn't get nearly bright enough to like reflect off a wall so you can see it, so it's not really a cool feature in my opinion. While we're on the back side though, for ports, this monitor is rocking one DisplayPort 1.2a, two HDMI 2.0Bs, a USB Type-C port, audio out, two USB Type-A ports, and the USB Type-B port to control the OSD. Speaking of which, on the back is this joystick to control the OSD, which is much better than having to hit the random 5 buttons and figure out which one controls what, but in my opinion where things shine here is the OSD software that you can install on your PC. Once connected via USB, you can control every option on your OSD from right here within Windows. You can see that there's a plethora of options for your colors, FreeSync, aim assist, source, and all of the normal stuff. Controlling the OSD through software is not something that I knew I needed in my life, but now I wish that every monitor in my studio had this feature. But I could also say the same thing about another feature that this monitor has, the 165Hz. Usually I save the gaming performance part of these videos for last and I get all the physical features and specs out of the way first, but I can't hold out any longer, so we'll get back to those in a second. Gaming on this 165Hz beautiful non-reflective matte display in my personal favorite resolution 1440p is an absolute dream, and it completely wipes the floor against any other monitor that I have down here in my studio. Gaming in 1440p and higher refresh rates is still the sweet spot here in 2020 for higher end hardware. Please don't try to convince me that gaming at 4K in 60 FPS is better. I've been playing all of my games, including the non-competitive ones, at least 100 FPS all the time. Unlike what you might be hearing around the internet, even more casual games like Borderlands 3 and World of Warcraft are far superior with higher refresh rate monitors like this one. I personally just can't play anything at 60 FPS anymore after getting used to it. I've been gaming at 144Hz for like 3 years now, so I can actually confidently say that I can see the small difference going from 144 to 165. If you're used to gaming at 60 and you jump to 144 or 165, you probably won't notice that difference, but in my very first game of testing this monitor, I played Call of Duty Warzone, and I got 3rd place with 5 kills, so that should say something for this monitor. FreeSync on this monitor also works in a huge range of 48 to 165. It's also G-Sync compatible, meaning it's not officially supported by NVIDIA, but you can indeed turn it on in the NVIDIA control panel, and I noticed an exact amount of 0 issues while running it with my GTX 1080 Ti. Speaking of which, I have an entire video about this build that I've been testing with in the top right hand corner if you're interested in that, by the way. Colors on the MSI MAG272CQR look very bright and vibrant. I'm not super picky and get the color calibration equipment out for these reviews. You guys know this by now, but the naked eye test tells me that the gaming and video content looks beautiful in this thing, and the other naked eye test that I did was with ghosting. Lots of people are going to say that they prefer TN panels because the technology is faster and that VA could introduce ghosting. Other people are going to prefer IPS because of the color accuracy and the viewing angles, but in my opinion, if a VA panel is done correctly like this one is, you do get the best of both worlds. In my opinion, the colors compete with my much more expensive Asus monitor that will be getting replaced, and although I'm casual, I didn't notice notice any sort of lag or ghosting when gaming on this thing. One thing that I did notice, however, is that when gaming in 1080p, it actually looks pretty solid. Gaming in the non-native resolutions on monitors is usually a no-go, but for whatever reason, it doesn't look terrible on this one. So if you don't have a high-end gaming PC now, this monitor could be one that you grow into and kind of future-proof yourself for the time being. With that being said, this monitor will run you $400, but like I said, I think it's the best bang for your buck value that I've seen so far. It's even about to replace my almost $600 Asus monitor over there, but if this is still out of your price range, I do have videos for the best PC gaming monitors under $100 and $200, and I'll link those down in the description. And finally, just to tie up some loose ends with features that I'm also really enjoying with this monitor, there's no external power brick, meaning that you can use any computer power cable to give it power, not something that we've been seeing lately. The USB Type-C connector is pretty neat for those of you rocking a new RTX graphics card. There's a headphone peg that pops out on the left-hand side, which is awesome. The stand feels extremely durable with its metal design. It has height adjustment, tilt adjustment, but no swivel adjustment, but you don't really need that with a curved monitor. There's just a lot of tiny little details that I really enjoy about this monitor. I wish I could properly explain how I've been denying monitor reviews lately from companies. I don't want to turn into a monitor review channel, but when MSI reached out and I looked up the specs of this one, I knew on paper that it was special, so I had to share it with you guys. Well, that wraps up what I think is the best gaming monitor under $400 here in 2020. As always, drop a comment about what you thought of this monitor or what other monitor you want to see me review next. And after that, feel free to head on over to one of these two videos if you haven't seen them yet. Definitely hit that subscribe button and make sure you follow me over on Twitch because we're doing some pretty cool stuff over there.